Yeah.
Hello and welcome to our latest Tea and Tights special interview. We are, of course, Tea and Tights, a great British podcast for Great British Wrestling. And joining me today, we have the amazing, the wonderful, the fantastic Mr. Billy Haze, one half of the Dead Sad Boys Club of the fantastic J. Joshua. This 21-year-old high flyer is the current FNW Tag Team Champion. He is a star with the WrestleForce, Wrestle Carnival, EWA, Purpose Wrestling, FNW, Pro Wrestling Clash, Pride Pro, SWW, and one of the men behind Creation Pro. Good evening, Billy Haze.
Hello. I didn't know I did that many things. You're surprising me. I was like, oh, I do that. Oh, no.
You get around, mate. You get around. Yeah. And that's the way it's got to be. So, yeah, one of the places you're going to be getting around to soon is Wrestle Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
You have got a great looking match coming up at Wrestle Carnival against Big Man Inc., Adam Bolt and Jack Tyson. So, how are you feeling about that match?
It's very weird because I've never seen much of them. And I'm not saying this as like a insult or anything to them. Like, I'm sure they're very good wrestlers. I've been like trying to study up on them, like coming up to the match, but I've not seen anything on them before that. So it's quite interesting going into it. Obviously, me and JJ being a tag team that are going around a bit, and we're starting to get our name out there with tag team wrestling and stuff like that. It's quite interesting to see us going to face a team that we've heard relatively little about.
Teams that you might have heard a bit more about, though, are Sunshine Machine and the Smoking Aces, who you recently took on at the Pro Wrestling Chaos show.
Yeah.
They're slightly more well-known and established.
Yeah.
And, well, I wasn't going to say that to you, but yeah, they are seriously experienced. Sunshine Machine have got to be top 2 in the country at the moment as far as tag team wrestling goes.
Just like the levels of like in and out movement that goes on, like it's no pun saying that they're a machine. Like they are, like it's incredible. The amount of pure just tag team moves that they have. Like I don't even know how they think of that many.
A slim, well-decorated wrestler and a chunkier, harder-hitting wrestler. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, like so like. Also, can I just say, Smoking Aces, phenomenal people just to wrestle. Like Nick and Charlie, oh my god, like the levels of like even though they're starting to like get their name like out there more than what it was, the levels of unrecognized, like no one knows how good they are, even though everyone knows they're really, really good, but yet still no one knows how good they are, is insane. Like
they really do need to be on everybody's watch list. There's no two ways about that. Is that a small furry animal back there?
There is, and he's not used to me talking on the computer. Let me grab him.
Oh, it's well worth this because I have seen pictures of this rather gorgeous young fluffy one who we are hopefully going to get to see in just a minute's time. Yes, we are.
He was having a little argument with the Hoover, is what's happening.
So that would be Ash.
This is Ash.
Oh, okay. He
He's very unsure.
Little bit special.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous.
Very tiny, and he's very new to figuring things out. I found out that I got him a lot younger than what I was supposed to, because you're supposed to get cats at like 8 months old, and he is approximately about 4 weeks. Oh no, not 8 months, 8 weeks, and then he's approximately like 4 weeks now, which is like the owners that sold me and didn't tell me that or anything like that. And yeah, I'm currently having to train him literally everything. So I'm like a big cat mum at the moment, trying to look after him.
Oh, we love pets here. We regularly get interrupted by Badger, who is Andy's dog, and my cats have a habit of running around at the same time as well. Right. So we were just talking about Charlie Sterling and Nick as well, and saying about how they really are on the cusp of that top tier.
Yeah.
The work they've been doing in Progress has been absolutely brilliant.
Phenomenal. That I was watching very closely all the stuff that they did with Like Us Gym, and it is so good. Like, again, another tag team that's just absolutely phenomenal, like blowing everyone out the water. But like all the stuff that they did with them in Progress was phenomenal, and everything that they did when they had the titles was also great. It was really fun when they first announced that match for Chaos. The people behind Chaos, if no one knows, is Wild Boar and Flash Morgan Webster. And they were very like, okay, we're going to put you in the ring with two people that are champions of very high companies outside of this. So obviously Revolution, Rev Pro, if Chuck and TK are champions, and in Progress, Nick and Charlie are obviously not anymore. But at the time when the match was announced and everything, that was what was given to us. And it was very like, oh, we're getting given something really cool to just do our thing.
That is a bit special.
Yeah. And I've always kind of prided myself on like Hitch kind of passing the torch down to me in terms of like what he's doing and what like his moves and how he's basically teaching me how to be like him but also myself, which is like a great thing. And like he like gave me the package power driver to use as a finish and things like that, so it's like really nice, like him giving me this other opportunity, like here you go, do this.
Now if you haven't seen Billy hit package power driver, it is devastating. You don't just hit it from a standing position 9 times out of 10, do you?
No. There's normally at least a little jump in.
And it isn't little, because most of your jumps tend to be quite high. Yeah. You are quite the high-flying wrestler. You do tend to take risks during your matches, the calculated ones.
Yeah.
How was it that first time coming off the top rope?
Oh, I was terrified. Like, I don't think people understand how like awful I am at like high flying stuff. Because I do a lot of stuff where it's like kind of mat based and using the ropes based to give off the illusion of me being high flying, or a lot of running stuff. But I don't ever go to the top rope that much, bar like 2 moves that I do. I hate it. It is terrifying. Every single time I'm up there, I'm like, why did I do this? Well, why am I here? Like, why did JJ convince me to do this move where I'm on the top rope? Like, why did I accept that?
Well, the drop kick that you do, the forward drop kick, is that looks like it could be a little bit uncomfortable to land.
Oh yeah. No, that one's horrible, but it also is horrible for whoever I do it on. So you win some, you lose some. As much as I'm like, oh, I should really stop doing that, I'm like, oh, but it really hurts. So
it does look really good though.
Yeah.
So Jay is your tag team partner in the Dead Sad Boys Club. Now, how did you guys meet?
So like bringing the story all the way back, I've been friends with Nico Angelo for a very long time. Like, since I started wrestling at 16, Nico's been there with me. So we've had a very long friendship for a very long amount of time. And like, I started traveling down to Cardiff when I was living in London. I started traveling down to Cardiff and staying with Nico and training with Boar and training with Mark and training with everyone down here. And I kind of met JJ along the way there, and also one of the like people that's helped me move from London to Cardiff and helped me adjust to everything in Cardiff, because it is a very different lifestyle to someone that's been living in London their entire life.
Speaking of someone that used to work in central London, nothing is like central London.
No.
So Cardiff, that is, of course, very major in wrestling news at the moment. And one of the other things very major in wrestling news at the moment is ticket prices. I thought, for shits and giggles, I'd have a look and see how much tickets were for front row at Clash at the Castle with the hotel package.
Okay, yeah.
You want to hazard a guess?
It's got to be like around 500. I want to say 500, but I feel like it's more. Is the worst bit.
Much more.
Ooh.
4,500.
Oh. No.
That's big money.
No. Who's got that money? Who?
I don't know, but if you look in the front row,
I'll find out. I'd be like, oh, okay, you're people that I'm supposed to be selling tickets to. That makes sense.
Would you like to buy this T-shirt?
Yeah, exactly. I'll just walk around the front row, just being like, oh, guys, wrestler T-shirt. Anyone? No? Okay, bye.
There's going to be quite a lot of other shows in Cardiff as well. There's Progress are heading down there, and TNT
are heading down here.
Yeah.
That's from what I know of so far. Well, from what I know of so far, yes.
I get you.
There's around that weekend. I've had a lot of talks with a lot of people, because in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes, this is the UK's WrestleMania.
Yes.
So we're trying to treat it as such as WrestleMania has the WrestleMania week leading up to WrestleMania. There's a lot of promotions that are trying to create that in Cardiff for that time.
So we had a bit of fun there with an electrical storm. This is the joys of living in a place that doesn't have fantastic internet. Hey, let's talk about creation.
Let's enjoy this chat.
Creation is a little bit exciting at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like very new and very. I don't think a lot of things that people have seen before. Majority. So it's honestly one of my biggest passions at the moment is doing all that stuff.
Wicked logos.
I had the idea to run a show where, honest to God, years ago, like 4 years ago, like when I just started wrestling, I wanted to start running shows. And I got a logo designed up and I've kind of just been sitting on it for ages. Like everything, I've got everything designed and everything like that. And I've been sitting on it for ages. You kind of see some of my background up there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've got a real, like I don't know if most people don't know, but outside of wrestling, I focus a lot on art. So I've got a lot of things to do with like designing t-shirts and designing skateboards and designing a load of different things in general. I'm very like art focused, so like I was like, okay, a logo is the one thing that I need to like be like, okay, this is good. And obviously calling it creation is obviously leading to the whole creative side of what I enjoy in wrestling and everything like that.
That's a great name for a company, it really is. So how did it come about and who are you working with?
I'm currently working with, well, obviously all the wrestlers. Everything in terms of booking, payment, everything like that is down to myself. The only other thing that I outsource is things where it's a lot more like politically speaking, and not because I don't know that stuff, I know it, but I'm very dyslexic, so I have to be very like, I'm not the best at talking, and I'd rather give that over to someone that can explain the situation, explain things thoroughly, rather than me do it and me not explain it the best, and people get like a 50-50 decision on what is actually happening. So I outsource that to one of my close friends, whose name is Chris Tumbus, and he helps me with that whole side of things, like how wording things correctly and things like that, because as most people with dyslexia know, we're not the best at saying things the best. As much as our intentions are in the right place and everything like that, messages can be misconstrued and everything like that. So that's been outsourced to someone else, and everything else, I wish it wasn't, but everything else is reliant on me. Absolutely everything.
That sounds like intelligent delegation.
Yeah. It's a lot of us trying to make sure that everything just fits right.
Mm-hmm. Well, you put on some wicked cards. How do you decide who you want to see? Are you working purely on, I want to see them with them? Are you listening to what people or who would like to work together? What is it that goes through your head when you're booking?
So it's a mixture of everything, really. Like I've been up and down the, I would like to say that I've been up and down the UK scene, and I'm pretty sure that people can attest to that. Like I've gone to every single show that I can, and I've helped out, and I've set up, and I've seen a lot of really good wrestlers. A lot of like the reason I started was because I kept on seeing the same cards getting put on over and over again in wrestling. I kept on seeing the same wrestlers wrestling on the same shows, doing the same things, everything like that. And I've got nothing against any of those guys that were doing that, but I wanted to give credit to the people that weren't getting that attention and weren't getting what I think they deserved in wrestling. Have you noticed I've not put myself on any shows for a reason? I'm not doing this for me to get the gratification for it. I'm not doing this for me to get the people are now talking about you. Like I can do that other places. I can go to Chaos, I can do that, I can go to Carnival, I can do that, I can go to, and do it in all these other places. I don't need to do it on my own promotion. I'm more focused on bringing people like Nino in, bringing people like Sapphire in, bringing people like Mark True in, elevating people like Nico Angelo, elevating people like Connor Mills, who I still don't think gets, like Connor Mills, Nico Angelo, and OGMO don't get anywhere near the recognition that they deserve, in my opinion. And they're three people that I'm very focused on making sure people know that they're really fucking good, because they are.
Can I stick two more in there?
Go.
Ian Skinner. Definitely, I think needs to get more people, more eyes on him. And Corey McRae.
Corey McRae. I've only seen like a couple of things from Corey McRae. Ian Skinner, I'm very close friends with, and we are very close to sorting out some sort of date for him in future. The only pain is he's in Scotland, and I've told him this multiple times. The only pain is he's in Scotland, and it's very hard to travel people around from Scotland. And that's a real shame, because he's so good. Like he's someone that like over lockdown I became very good friends with, and he sent me a lot of like match footage and things like that for me to watch over and things like that. And he's such a student of the game. It's incredible.
We were lucky enough to interview him a few months back, and he's a really, really lovely guy. And his whole technique is just beautiful to watch. It really is.
Yeah. He's someone that is very like, every time I post something, I'll get a message from Skinner, and I know that 100% because he's absolutely amazing. And he's also one of those people that just wants wrestling to be really good. And they're the people that I want to be around, and I want to put on shows, like people that aren't focused on themselves. Like as much as I want to get focused on them, I want people that aren't focused on themselves. I want people that are focused on making sure everyone gets a good part of this like thing that we love, and make sure that it's recognized as something that's really, really good.
Now, someone else who is definitely being recognized as really, really good and is having a very good 2022 is your former tag team partner, occasional tag team partner. I won't say your former, because there's always a future. In troubled youth, Mr. Danny Black.
Yeah, Danny's someone that like we started my like third training school. I've jumped around all over the place in terms of training schools, and I've gone to so many different ones, just because I love wrestling. But like my third training school I started going to, Danny was like starting off at the same time as me, pretty much. So we kind of like really gelled there. And like we didn't talk for ages, and I moved around a lot, and then I moved to Knuckle Locks. And then we also then joined at the same time, and we're like, oh wait, I remember you, and just became really good mates. And back to your point, like I get asked a lot, and I'm saying this just on the record so people like, Danny Black isn't on the shows because he's already everywhere. And I love Danny, I love him, but the main focus on my shows is to get people that are not everywhere on. So as much as I really want to put Danny on at some point, I'm also going to do it in the right position at the right time, and also when he can elevate someone else, because he's already getting so much everywhere else, and it's so good for him, and it's so great to see. Well, I remember when they posted the graphic for was it last year when they did the Progress, when he first joined Progress?
Yeah.
I remember when they first posted that graphic, I was so excited, especially because there was a lot of talks going on about bringing me in with him and things like that, and obviously nothing came to it, but I'm always so excited whenever I see Danny on anything, especially now he's hanging around with all the Callum Newman and Joe Lando, who's someone that's also phenomenal. Maverick Mayhew, who's also great. Maverick's also been there for a lot of my career as well, and they're all absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I do love Close Personal Friends. I think they had my favourite match of last year, the match at Wrestle Carnival.
Okay, I remember seeing it. It was really good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy that. I've really enjoyed seeing you in person at FNW, and I do hope that they rejuvenate in some way, shape, or form. Because you guys were holding your own. The match you had against the 8-7 was brilliant.
I really enjoyed that match. Roth is another incredible talent. I don't think it gets anywhere near the recognition that he deserves. And I know so many people feel the exact same way.
I was at Sacrifice Pro this weekend, where they were in a safe word match against BDSM.
Okay.
Their safe word was Roy wants carbs.
Fair.
It was good.
I'm very curious as to, I would genuinely want to see that.
It's well worth seeing. I hope Sacrifice get it up on their socials soon.
Yeah.
So you say you bounce around between training schools. I've noticed that recently you've been at New Wave.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding it there?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. What Brendan's doing with the school and everything is absolutely amazing. The people that he's bringing around and that he's putting in new lights and things like that are incredible. And like, even to have some of the guys that are more known as trainees here in Wales having their input into certain things, having people like Elijah, people like Bino, people like Danny Luna and everything have their input into other people's training, because not being funny, they're really, really good. And they also know what they're talking about. As much as everything that Hitch and Brendan and everyone show us, there's also stuff that they've gone out and learned themselves from wrestling all over the country. So it's a really nice space to be in at the moment, and it's really fun, because I'm really excited for when it starts to pick up a bit more.
Sweet. So one question we always ask everyone that comes on. Mm-hmm. Your Mount Rushden, because we're in England, so we have Rushden as Mount Rushmore. Your Mount Rushden of British wrestlers, who would you put on your top 4?
Okay. I think easily first one, I think he's probably on everyone's, and if he's not, then I'll genuinely be a bit worried. Pete Dunne. He's the person that made this scene what it was and what it's going to be again. and like tribute to Mark Andrews, but like Pete's had a very heavy part in my training and how much he's influenced me. So he definitely goes up there. Will Ospreay, he's changed the entire world of wrestling. The entire, not even British, the world of wrestling. He's changed it for the better. Wild Boar is up there for me. He's someone that has flown under the radar for the majority of the scene, and yet he's, I would say, the best wrestler on it. I can say this comfortably, he is Pete Dunne's favorite wrestler. And there is a full-on reason to why he's Pete Dunne's favorite wrestler. He's such an amazing, amazing wrestler. And the last one I'm genuinely going to give to one of the newer people in British wrestling, and it's Michael OGMO. He deserves it. The things he is now doing for wrestling, in wrestling, around wrestling is amazing, and there's no one with more talent than Michael. No one. And I'm saying this as a talent myself. There's no one with more talent than Michael. He is absolutely phenomenal. And I genuinely, like, my favorite match I've ever had was with him. And that was a very long time ago, but it's still my favorite match, and I've still not been able to top it. And granted, I've really tried. But every single time I go back to it, I'm like, I've really enjoyed this match and what it meant for me at this point in my career. So I think he definitely deserves it.
That's a strong 4. That really is. You'd be surprised how few people put Pete Dunne on.
Really?
Yeah. I think the most common...
Because I speak so highly about Pete, everyone, whenever I'm around them, speaks very highly about Pete. But I've never, like, I would always assume that everyone in Brit Wres would be like, okay, Pete Dunne. Brit Wres, that is Pete Dunne.
Regal comes up a lot.
Yeah, deservedly so.
Yeah. And what else has been coming up quite a lot recently? I'm having a mental blur. It happens. I've got ADHD. It just flicks.
I get it.
Right. Can you give me a couple of people that we need to look out for in the future? Because Creation aims to get new faces in. You've already mentioned Nino, and his younger brother's a little bit special as well.
Yeah, his younger brother's going to be as well as Nino's the next thing, his younger brother's going to be the next thing. Like, it's great. And they've got another one. They've got another one that's going to do the exact same, and it's amazing. Like, the youngest is the best of them all, and that is the weirdest bit. But he cannot wrestle because he's way too young. So, but he is honest to God. And I'm not saying this is a jibe to Nino or anyone. Like, I love Nino. He is better than both of his brothers, the youngest one, and he is the youngest one. It
terrifies me because I've got kids older than you, and you're talking about how young this one is. It's just like, oh my God. Brit Wres has got a great, strong future.
Oh, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'd say people should definitely keep an eye out for is Sapphire. She's absolutely incredible. Again, I've had a very heavy part in training her, as well as Mills and Michael have, and people that are just really good in British wrestling at the moment have had a very heavy hand in training her. Obviously, Nino's phenomenal. Obviously, exactly the same. Like, people like Mills and Michael, myself, and everyone like that is very prominent in the UK scene at the moment. Has had a very heavy hand in training him. Mark True, very
True and Lacey.
Very good. Lacey is the same. Lacey's the same. He's absolutely incredible. They're both absolutely incredible. They're two people that are very unrecognized. As much as Sapphire and Nino aren't, they are so unrecognized. It's incredible. Like, people don't know how good they are. I don't know who outside of that. I've seen a lot of Daz Black, and I know he's very young, but he's also got a very major title, so I don't really want to put him on the list. But he is also very good. But off of coming straight to the top of my head, that's the main people. I would say.
That's cool. I'm very lucky. True and Lacey are regulars at my local company, UBW.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so I get to
Yeah.
see them quite often, and they are brilliant. Now, we are running low on time. So I'm going to have to ask one question, though. You have the odd bit of ink. You have a little bit of ink. A little bit of ink. What was your first tattoo?
My first is a rib tattoo.
Ooh, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah. My nan used to tell me the story of Bala when I was younger, which then turned into Finn Balor. But I've got a like Irish nan, and she used to tell me the story of Bala when I was a lot younger. So I've got Bala, and then the Celtic sign for Leo going around like an eye. Just because I've got a lot of Irish heritage and everything, and I really like to tell. I like to tell people about it because not many people would expect it outside of me being ginger. Like, yeah, ginger.
Nothing wrong with that.
Scottish or Irish?
Neither.
Yeah.
I'm ginger and I'm very boring. It's Nottingham. Wicked. Well, look, Billy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. What we'll have to do is get you on again ahead of one of the creation cards and get you to run through the card with us. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And one last thing before you go, where can people get your merch?
At the moment, you can get my merch on getonthegear.com. Keep posted on all my socials at the moment because there are new t-shirts coming out for Dead Sad Boys. There's new t-shirts coming out for me. There's new t-shirts coming out for Creation Pro. And there's also new t-shirts coming out for my side ventures outside of that. All on my socials. Keep everything tuned in. Everything outside of designing, outside of wrestling is literally Stay Weird clothing. So just plug that all away.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, remember, don't feed the trolls.